is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. This is Patton's webinar for unlocking the recurring revenue in the North American market, selling our SmartNode cloud services right out of the box. This webinar is going to focus on our North American marketplace. You will see in the future, we will roll this out in different marketplaces. Today I'm joined by Dan Dorsey from BabyTel, the Vice President of Channel Partnerships, and Khalid Tawfiq, Vice President of Technology at BabyTel. So as we get into this presentation, if anybody has any questions, please type them out for us. At the end, we'll address those questions as we go through. We're going to kick off the webinar now for everybody. So today we're going to talk about the fax market. We're going to go through, obviously, the SmartNode CLOUD-FAX service offering. We're also going to be addressing fax security in today's marketplace and the services. So we're going to talk about our bundled option, and as well as the bringing your own SmartNode option, as well as the revenue markets for the agents and our partners going to market, selling the service, obviously the next steps to onboarding and getting everybody involved and committed as an agent to promote this service through the community, and as well as finally addressing your Q&A from the community. With that being said, there's a big secret. We know that fax is still a growing marketplace. So when we look at the numbers here, we can see that in North America, we're expecting, this is data from IDC's fax survey in 2017, which is a 2-year vision. Looking at that, we see the North American marketplace is growing at about 50% a year. Western Europe, about 53% a year. So when we look at that, and the Asia Pacific region is still growing at 31% a year. So when we look at that compounded annual growth rate of 43% annual growth rate in fax, we can see that a lot of organizations and industries are still relying on this technology. It's still a widely deployed technology, and now that technology is moving from the legacy environment into the cloud and IP-based models. Obviously, there are sectors where this is very critical. Healthcare is a major one where we need the encrypted client information. It's private between the doctor's offices, the providers, and the insurance agencies, as well as we see this need in financial services. This is in your stock and exchanges, as well as in real estate markets. Legal services, obviously, there's still a very large need for encrypted fax. Obviously, these industries are very dependent on physical documentation and those documents being relayed to the appropriate parties along the chain. Real estate, as I touched on earlier, obviously all of our contracts and information going back and forth require encrypted and secure fax, as well as manufacturing. So we look at these as our core markets that we see where fax is critical. And looking at all of these markets are also driven by multiple locations. So in healthcare, obviously, we can think about the amount of doctor's offices, dentist offices, hospitals, facilities that utilize this. Financial services is the same type of way. There's tax offices, financial service offices in basically every city in the United States and large city, as well as think about the amount of real estate offices, legal services, and obviously manufacturing plants that are across the regions. So why is such a legacy technology still critical in large markets? Well, I think, for all of us, we can look at that secure and direct communication between the sender and receiver. Obviously, that addresses our business need. The encrypted fax service is also addressing the technical needs because these are legally binding documents. So we want to make sure they're encrypted from point A to point B, where there's no ability to tap into that document midstream, or where that document may be warehoused and have access to being hacked or manipulated. Obviously, partner workflows and operating procedures require it. This is a big thing. In a medical transaction or a real estate transaction or legal transactions, there are workflows and operating procedures that require how that fax is sent and received, which gives us the ability to ensure that it's meeting our standards or our processes that are defined. As well, the alternatives are not without vulnerabilities or shortcomings. So when we talk about how we're delivering this, and as we get into how the secured fax works today, you'll see how we're securing that from the fax entry point through the network to the delivery side and eliminating those vulnerabilities or shortcomings in that transport. So yeah, the market is still growing. Yeah, most internet faxing we hear from a lot of people is it simply doesn't work. We look at the business migration to internet telephony and their ability to find fax solutions that aren't up to snuff. A lot of people talk about poor completion rates, the need for compliance with regulations such as HIPAA, the lack of security of the traditional telephony or the PSTN solutions, and of course that legacy fax services are compatible with internet faxing. So these are a lot of the objections people seem to run into with some of the fax services that don't utilize the relationship and the embedded technology between Patent and BabyTel going to market. And obviously with the frustration, infrastructure is moving away from our landlines. So as we transition to an all IP network, it introduces bigger problems for the customers. So what we want to know is, what does that future of fax look like? And that's really what we're here to address today. And I'll be handing it over to my associates here to introduce the fax of the future, the Patent Smart CLOUD-FAX solution, which is a combination of Patent and BabyTel, where we have fax or traffic encryption for the secured faxing, which is key, and you'll see why that is. It's standards-based, real-time T38 protocol designed for fax traffic. So when we talk about that, we're looking at addressing the specific need of the fax traffic versus data traffic or voice traffic. There's a big difference in that and how that data is handled. And obviously, fax completion rates equal to or better than the traditional solutions. This is something we really want to address because that fax completion rate is what everybody's looking at. That's where we want to make sure that we're guaranteeing as if or better than traditional faxing services over IP-based with encryption, ensuring that we meet the protocols and standards defined by our workflows or business requirements. And obviously, compatibility with legacy fax equipment is key. You'll see in our solutions that we offer abilities to do cloud-based. We offer abilities in our bundled services to connect into legacy fax equipment. We'll touch on some of those fax equipments and some of those providers in a slide coming forward. But it's another key critical component, obviously, is our completion rates and our ability to have compatibility with the legacy fax machines. Additionally, we wanted to have zero-touch provisioning. We wanted to be able to ship the solution up and ready to go, plug the fax machine in, have it deployable immediately. We wanted to eliminate having to deploy a router-like solution at the customer edge. Together, we've addressed that. So why choose BabyTel? Patent's BabyTel T38. Well, right now, BabyTel is the recognized leader in voice over IP. I'll hand it over to the team here from BabyTel, and they can walk through some of the points here for you.
Hi, so I'm starting by saying that BabyTel has been doing fax for quite a long time. Since the mid-90s, we're probably the foremost expert in the fax over data network industry at that time. One of the first international networks to deliver fax over IP. And over the years, we've really developed a deep sense of appreciation and understanding of the issues involved in making fax work. Our solution has been proven by major providers and customers among the certified solution that we work with are Xerox, Lexmark, Copia, WriteFax, Finestra, Dialogic, GFI, Scapia, and so on. These are people that are companies that do a lot of document management involving fax They're companies that come to us because their customers depend on them providing solutions that work and that are secured. So one of the issues that the industry faced is that there was no mechanism to secure real-time fax. So a few years back, BabyTel decided that we can find that solution and introduce it to the market. And that we did just that. We patented technology to encrypt T38. And at the time it was, and it still is, the only real-time fax over IP solution that provides this types of security and encryption and maintains the high call completion rates that are demanded by the customers. Soon after we launched this, the industry sort of rallied and tried to define a standard within the protocols. However, that never took hold, and up till now, the BabyTel T38 encryption solution is the really prime jewel of the industry's security for real-time traffic. So BabyTel also provides global coverage, and that's very important for customers because of that type of customers that require these highly regulated, secure communications are multinational and have needs to deliver faxes all over the world. And because of these regulations, especially in Canada and the USA, we have the ability to keep the fax traffic within national boundaries to meet these regulations. We have a diverse clientele. I'll let Dan speak to them.
So thanks, Khaled. This is Dan. Just a couple of our clients that might be of interest. The TD Bank in Canada. This is one of Canada's 5 largest banks, and they're making inroads in the United States. And you can see our other strong clients are represented in healthcare. IPC is one, and we also provide fax services to the government of Ontario up here in Canada. So as serving all the communities that Sean outlined earlier, we certainly have the makeup and the experience to now offer it through the partnership with Patent.
Great. So looking at some of our customer benefits, obviously we want to eliminate large and costly analog infrastructure. At the same point in time, we want to have the ability to utilize what's been deployed and in place, right? If we can utilize the same machinery in place with a new delivery mechanism, more cost effective and more secure, well, that eliminates the ability for us to have to invest in new hardware and new costs and solutions. Additionally, regulatory compliance is huge. HIPAA is in the healthcare arena. SOX is in the financial services arena. So when we look at it, a lot of these regulatory compliances dictate what and how a fax can be delivered and what the security protocol must be maintained on that private or sensitive information, whether it be in healthcare, whether it be in finance, real estate, or what have you. These industries are dictated by regulatory compliance. Additionally, we want to see the cloud migration initiative that can now include fax. I'm sure everybody on the call or the webinar today has heard of the Patent Cloud service, seen the new Patent virtual SmartNode, and obviously bringing in a cloud-based fax service helps broaden Patent's cloud product offering for the marketplace. And obviously we want to leverage the fax over IP architecture, right, for high availability and disaster recovery. That touches back into the completion rates and making sure that we're achieving the standards that have been dictated by the traditional systems. And obviously we wanted to have global coverage. We know that most industries have multiple locations, whether it's across the United States and Canada, or properties throughout the world. So it's important for them to maintain that global coverage and communication between entities within the organization. And what we really wanted to deliver is a reliable, mission-critical fax applications, meaning a bundled solution that provides not only the voice over IP hardware part of the solution with the embedded crypt agent, but also a cloud-based solution that we know can meet the needs of the mission-critical fax applications. So when we look at the benefits to our resellers and agents, the community today, we wanted you guys to have an ability to earn margins not only on the hardware sales, but also earn a recurring revenue selling the new CLOUD-FAX service. So we know that generally with the SmartNode sale, those devices, it's a one-time sale. We're selling the SmartNode to a client plugs the SmartNode in, and we hear from that client when he wants to do new deployment and buy another SmartNode. Now with this service, we have the ability where we're deploying our CLOUD-FAX service, and we have a monthly recurring revenue across that platform or service based upon the amount of lines deployed. Obviously, the CLOUD-FAX service is a great value add to customers that have an existing SmartNode or existing SmartNode accounts. We can go in with the SmartNode and enable through a license the CLOUD-FAX service and get you guys enrolled as agents, selling to your resellers, and adding those value-added services to the existing deck of customers. It allows us to go back in and touch those customers yet again and offer a new service based on the existing platform that they're utilizing today. So what is real-time encryption and how does it address the compliance concerns? I think number one, obviously the fax traffic is transient. It's not stored by the telecom carriers. That's a big thing. Once we're taking away that storage, that document is less vulnerable to alteration, manipulation, or changes because it's going from point A to point B. We can see when it was sent and when it was received. It's not going to a third-party housing location where that data may be tapped or accessed.
I just want to add on that point is that solutions that do the store and forward type of solution also suffer from a couple of other shortcomings. One is that their cost is higher. They have to maintain all this extra infrastructure for storage and delivering the fax in this multi-step fashion. So they have a higher cost infrastructure, but also they have a higher burden of security. So a lot of the regulations, for example, like HIPAA, would require you as a company, if you're on a contract with somebody who does store and forward, to sign a business associate agreement, which is quite an exhaustive exercise in getting all the criteria met that you need to certify before you can actually use that service.
Yeah, the BAA, it's very interesting. With the patent BabyTel solution, there is no BAA to be signed. It's HIPAA compliant out of the box because it looks and acts like a regular analog telephone call. There's no storage in between, and T38 is a real-time protocol. Just one more point on that. The BAA, often the BAAs, when signed by the agent or the service provider, the BAA really outlines that they are accepting liability should any of that data be compromised. And not all of us have the billions of dollars to pay the HIPAA fines if information is compromised.
I think that's a really valid point. So obviously, when we look at our regulations, whether it's the HIPAA SOX, GDPR, PIP-EDA, the biggest thing about the solution today is it was designed to meet the security standards, right, and the regulations. So when we say out of the box, it's out of the box. There's nothing else there. We've designed the encrypt agent with BabyTel embedded in the solution to ensure we meet those standards. So that's really important in going forward is, when we talk about fax security, that it is standards-based to address the compliance and regulatory laws that are set for document transfer. So when we look at it, we have a standard fax service, right? So we have our SmartNode, we have our voice over IP traffic, we have the internet, And it goes to, we'll call it that data center, right? So this is more of your store and board kind of environment where it's a low-cost solution, right? And it's reliable. You know, we're providing reliable fax over IP. For a lot of businesses that don't have compliance or regulatory issues and you're emailing flyers to customers or updates or tracking information or whatever it may be, standard fax service is fine because you're doing point A to point B and it's not sensitive information that we're putting across, and it provides a low-cost and reliable solution to terminate standard fax traffic. Where the encrypted CLOUD-FAX service benefits not only the fax over IP in the standard service, we're adding that real-time faxing and we're adding the encryption on top of it. So when we look at something like that, we have a CRIP agent key embedded in the SmartNode, whether it be a physical SmartNode or virtual SmartNode. We're running a CRIP agent in that device. It's going over our encrypted enterprise firewall, right? The voice traffic is encrypted between the firewall and the internet. The traffic is also encrypted between the internet and our data center. And on our data center side, you'll see there's also a CRIP agent server, right? So the SmartNode or our local side is acting as the client. And on our data center side or our telco switch side, we have that CRIP agent server. So therefore, we have the ability to encrypt that link from side to side, also providing the timing and documentation that this hasn't been delayed or stored. So when we look at that, you know, it really safeguards us against privacy breaches, and it helps us maintain that high completion rate. And when we talk about fax, that's the biggest thing, especially when we're talking about medical documents or files in real estate, where these can be hundreds of pages in length.
On that point of the high completion rate, there's a couple of things there that come into play. And the first one, which is a lot of people have overlooked and taken for granted, but if you've been doing fax for as long as we have, you know that you cannot do that, which is that we treat fax as fax. It's not a voice line, this is a fax line. So a lot of the major carriers who have been migrating from their old PSTN and TDM networks to IP, their bread and butter is voice, and fax has often been an afterthought. And they're treating fax, which is, originally a digital media being converted into an analog signal, and then run over analog lines. And it worked on those PSTN analog lines because of that single conversion. Now, when you go over IP, you're taking a digital medium, converting into analog, and then converting back into digital to run it over IP, and that creates all sorts of problems if you treat it as voice. So with T38, fax is a digital medium that stays digital all the way. So it starts off as a document being encoded in zeros and ones, and then it stays in zeros and ones over a real-time connection over IP, and that makes a big difference. And the problem is when you run it over regular VoIP lines, it just fails because of that latency and packet drops and all the issues that you run into over the internet. The second part about the high completion rates is that the way we do encryption has minimal overhead. So a lot of people have went in and said, oh, well, we'll just put in VPN or we'll just put in IPsec and that will work. The overhead involved with these technologies is such that just fax doesn't work. Fax is very sensitive to delays, very sensitive to latency. And so without a very lightweight encryption protocol, the way BayDeTel has done it and patented it really, this is what you need for the high completion rate. I'll give you an example. 0.25% of packet loss could result in a difference of 30% of failures or improvement in completion rate. So that's a huge impact.
Thank you. So when we look at the service offerings, Patent's looking at a high-value secured FOIP service offering that's an encrypted all-in fax service that we're starting and launching today, okay? So we also look at it, that's an out-of-the-box, HIPAA compliant, no BBA required, as we touched on. It also has that patented real-time T38 encryption. So when we look at it, this is the service we're leading with. And In the summer, we'll be launching a secondary service, which is just a low-cost T38 fax line service out of the box. Both of these services are bundled with patent hardware. The high-value encrypted service is coming out with the SmartNode 4141 series. The low-cost service that we'll be launching in the summer will be coming out with our new SN200 model. So it gives us options for both service offerings. Obviously, when we're talking in the medical space, real estate, legal, these are the type of industries where we think we're definitely going to be utilizing that high-value encrypted. It's also the markets where we're going to see the most desktops or users. So, when we think about looking at a typical medical environment, they could have hundreds of lines, doctor's offices, there's thousands of facilities. So it's kind of a scalability from an agent community of onboarding those customers. So as I talked about, the all-in encrypted multi-line fax plan is going to have the 4141, unlimited outbound minutes, inbound minutes, and unlimited outbound minutes in the US and Canada. It's a monthly, multi-line monthly plan, so we're either going to do 2, 4, or 6, or 2, 4, or 8 all-in fax lines, providing either 2, 4, or 8 fax numbers. We're deploying one SmartNode device with our 6-month commit, and it's a $48 per line per month rate on that. Additionally, the all-in single fax plan, when we look at that, once again, it's unlimited inbound minutes, unlimited outbound minutes to the US and Canada. Monthly or annual plans, so we can do one all-in fax line, we can do one fax number. As I said, that's going to be with our SN200. And we're looking at that plan as either a $36 per month plan or a $360 annual plan. There's also obviously the availability if we want to add encryption, we can go through that through a license feature as well. Additionally, when we say bring our own SmartNode or our unbundled fax plans, we also have the ability, when our customers have a SmartNode deployed today, we have an opportunity to go in and sell them an enterprise plan where we can provide them that SIP trunk, the encrypted trunk, or then we can do, you'll see our different plans of 1 to 8 trunks or 9+ trunks, and what that monthly reoccurring fee would be. Obviously, we also have a standard single line fax plan, the same type of device where we have an existing SmartNode deployed in the field, and we now want to add, as an agent, this fax service on to our existing customer base. So this, once again, gives us that ability to do basic pay-as-you-go, an annual plan, never busy plan where we have that $14.90 a month, and then never busy all in. You'll see some of the differences in these plans, where our annual plan, we have unlimited inbound and outbound calls. Our never or pay-as-you-go plan has 90 pages, okay?
Let me explain a little bit about the never busy. So the first one, the 360 we talked about earlier, that comes, with the unbundled, and it's a fax, the SmartNode sitting there and receiving and sending faxes. Since this is a single line, we thought of something interesting, and there's a market for a situation where what happens if my fax line is in the process of receiving and sending a fax, and I'm getting another fax. So we've introduced this ability for us to take that fax, even though your fax machine is busy doing a fax now, we'll take that fax for you as it comes in and deliver it by email. And that's why this never busy plan includes pages with it. So that means that, in the case where your fax line is already engaged and another fax comes in, BabyTel will take that fax in and deliver it through a secure fax to email type of connection.
Awesome. So obviously what's in it from an agent and reseller perspective, thousands of dollars in recurring commissions in 6 months. And really it's based on the amount of plans. So what we're going to do is kind of walk through some of the basic revenue. So when we look at the recurring, basically our recurring revenue model gives you sales on a monthly basis for things that you've done in the past, things you're doing in the future, right? We're adding on more accounts. So what we're offering is a 15% commission when you provide first level support to the customer, meaning you help them troubleshoot or whatever's going on and then do that handoff to the team at Patent and BabyTel, or we jump in, or you can earn a straight 10% commission. We take care of everything. They call us, we handle it. You just get the recurring commission on that monthly basis. And obviously there's extra commission bonuses available with promotional plans where it could be a month where we're doing an onboarding special and there's an extra amount of margin. All commissions are paid on a monthly basis, which is great. So you'll see through the portal once you sign up as an agent that you have the ability to track your commissions, understand where your monthly commissions are coming from and how they scale up. Additionally, we've based an example on a small MSO revenue example for 15% commission for an agent selling 12 lines. So when we look at this, you'll go through and you'll see basically by the 6th month, you know, with our, like I said, once again, this is a small MSO revenue model. I know a lot of you guys have several MSOs out there that you support. So think about this small guy where we're just adding 12 lines per month over a 6-month period. And that formula, we're ending up with roughly a $1,152 commission per month after that 6th month of adding those 12 lines on per month. That means for every one of your guys or gals in there that are selling, if you have 10, 15 people that are all doing 12 plus lines a month, you know, we can look at that number growing exponentially. Or landing a large hospitality or healthcare customer where we can see that grow exponentially. And basically, once we hit that commission point, everything that we're doing up and beyond that just adds additional recurring monthly revenue. We wanted to show the example of where we got to that roughly $1,000 over a small MSO example. So I think this presents a really nice picture of where we're at. And that obviously, we've broken that out into our encrypted enterprise lines, our standard lines, and of course a bundled service offering. So I think from this, you can see how that scales and where we're determining that number. And I think it's a really, like I said, it's a number to look at for some of our smaller partners out there. It's a really good baseline. I think on the larger partners and agents that we have in the marketplace, you'll be seeing roughly probably 10x of that number based upon just your size and scope. So when we look at our models here, we have what we're calling a direct selling model, right? Where we have BabyTel. BabyTel sells, bills for service, delivers the service and hardware, provides support and pays commission. A lot of heavy lifting. Patent channel or reseller, this is the agents. Obviously, when we say credentialed, they signed up with the service, you're in the promotions, you're in the portal, you're promoting the service, and you're receiving commission on that service. So we have an agreement between the BabyTel agent, which is a patent reseller or partner, an agreement with BabyTel. They're promoting this service to their subscribers or their customers, right? They sign up for the service, they use the service in this case, right? They're signed up as that agent. BabyTel is delivering the service and hardware delivery to that subscriber. BabyTel is receiving payment from that subscriber, right? So we're not having the agent, channel, or reseller having to deal with the delivery of service or payment of service, right? And BabyTel is also delivering the commission to that agent on a monthly basis. So when we look at this, our agent is really doing the promotion into that subscriber, onboarding the subscriber as a new subscriber to their agency, and everything else in our example here with our bundled hardware and service is being directly managed by BabyTel, including the commission delivery. So I think it presents a very clean example of how we're selling as a direct agent in the marketplace. As well, we have a direct selling agent where it's an unbundled hardware, right? Meaning you're bringing your own SmartNode device to here, where once again we have BabyTel providing cells for bills and services. We have our agent who is in agreement with BabyTel as a registered agency or agent, master or sub-agent, as well as our subscriber. Once again, the relationship is fairly straightforward. We have an agreement between BabyTel and the agent is doing the promotion to our subscriber base. The agent in this case also has done the hardware sale, right? So this is not a bundled hardware sale, it's an unbundled offering where the agent, meaning the patent channel or reseller, is also selling that hardware sale. BabyTel is doing the service delivery for the fax service, our encrypted T38 fax service. They're receiving the payment from the subscriber for that service, and then they are delivering a commission to the agent. So in this case, our agent, meaning the patent channel or reseller, is taking part in the revenue from selling the hardware and receiving a commission from BabyTel for the services they're providing on that hardware that they've sold. Our next model is a reseller agent model with an unbundled hardware and bringing our own SmartNode once again. You'll see we have our three players, BabyTel, the patent channel or reseller, our agent, and our subscriber. Once again, we have a direct relationship or agreement between the patent channel reseller and BabyTel, and they're once again doing the promotion into our subscriber. Now we have added a distribution layer in here. Our distribution partner is now selling the hardware to the agent, right? So our distributor is making that commission off of selling the hardware. Our patent channel or reseller underneath our distribution partner is providing now the hardware sale to the subscriber. Once again, the service delivery is provided by BabyTel. The payment for that service is paid for by the subscriber to BabyTel. Once again, BabyTel is providing that commission to the agent who's onboarded the subscriber, right? So in this case, our agent has bought hardware from the distribution partner, whose role in the equation is selling the hardware. Our agency or patent channel is in the role of doing the promotion, hardware sale, and service sale. And BabyTel is delivering those services and providing the commission. So a lot of times, because of everybody's understanding of how a patent goes to market, we use distribution channels a lot. So this is a model where our distribution partner would be involved. In our next model, we're going to look at indirect selling, an agent model, unbundled hardware, and obviously bringing your own SmartNode. But in this case, we'll start off with BabyTel and our patent distributor. There's an agreement between our BabyTel agent and patent distributor, credentialed, obviously promoting the services, receiving commissions, and selling the hardware. There's the promotion, right, into our subscriber base, our reseller and subscriber base, or MSO, excuse me. Our reseller or MSO. So in this cases, we have a lot of our partners are out there that are promoting and reselling services through their own private cloud offering. They're reselling services to the customers. They're doing back-to-back billing of the customers. They're also selling hardware. This could include hardware as a service models, where they're leasing hardware and stuff to their customers. But in this case, our partner is really acting as that MSO. The BabyTel agent, once again, is selling, doing the hardware sale and promotion. Once again, our MSO is doing payment to BabyTel. BabyTel is doing our service delivery model. The commission is going back to the agent. You'll see the commission always ends up with our agency. The MSO is also promoting and selling to their customers, right? So in this case, if I have my MSO is Sean's Cloud Services, Sean's Cloud Services also has a deck of customers, right? They're my end users that I'm promoting and selling my service. So maybe before I was selling them SIP trunking and hosted telephony. Well, now part of my offering is encrypted fax services. And now I'm going to promote and sell those encrypted fax services to my MSO customer base. I'm also going to sell them the hardware and the service delivery because it's part of my total service offering now that I have incorporated into my cloud services offering that I'm selling to my end customer then. So when we look at selling the service, it's fairly straightforward. We're selecting the plan. Do we want encrypted? Do we want 2, 4, or 8 lines? How many fax numbers? It's basic walking through that plan selection. Providing our contact information. How are we going to get in touch with the customer, onboard them? The device selection, meaning what type of device are we going to use? Is it basic? Is it cloud-based? Are we doing a physical device with 2, 4, and 8, like our bundled service offering? Are we going to have to port a telephone number, right? Is the number portable, right? We can go through that with the customer as well. So we want to make sure that, and how many lines do they need? Is another thing in our phone decision. And of course, we'll provide them an order summary, right? Because a lot of this as we go through, what we're looking to our partners and community is coming on as agents, right? So you want to be able to provide your customer that order summary, just like you do today with a hardware order that shows this many phones, this many gateways, with this IPv6. It's the same type of service order that we're looking at today, except there's going to be another line item on there for this level of T38 with 4 lines and a bundled piece of hardware, or bring our own SmartNode, depending on what it is. But we're going to be able to provide that order summary. So when we look at that, that's another level of us walking through in some very simplistic steps to get the customer engaged in the program. And obviously, with that, we want to be able to send the confirmation messages. When we do that, as an agent, you'll see your portal, your customers that are onboarded, you'll start to see their commission reports and how that reoccurring revenue is playing out and adding value add to the sale. So instead of just selling that one-time device, with most gateway or hardware, this is a reoccurring model where not only do we sell it once, but it maintains over an annual basis. So it's really nice to bring that additional revenue stream in. So when we look at it, the next steps, it's pretty easy. You'll see here, sign up to earn reoccurring revenue. I want to be a cloud agent. For me, I want to be a cloud agent. So I'd like, if anybody has any questions at this point in time, to please, enter your questions now. And what I'd like everybody else to do, if you don't have questions, hit the link. Go in and sign up as an agent, right? Because we want to get this launched. We want to see that our services are going out. If I can remember my own name. And honestly, it's that easy for me to go in and sign up, okay? So now, thank you for signing up. Patton and BabyTel are going to reach out and contact me. I've gone through my first step. I know within the next moments, I'll be receiving a confirmation email. I'll be setting up a time to go through the service. So that's really what we wanted to get at, was the simplistic nature. Now I have the ability to go in. And when we're talking on the phone, you're going to tell me, I want to do the first line support or I don't want to do the first line support. I want 15% or I want 10%. Fantastic. That's as simple as we want to get, where we have the ability to do bringing your own SmartNode devices or doing the bundled services. So with that, I'm going to go to our questions period. If anybody has any questions, let me check here. Right now, I don't see anything. Anybody, if you want to put a question into the box, please do. Give me one moment.
I think I see something there.
Just trying to make my window a little bigger. All right. Give me 1 second while we go through these. Yes, the presentation that we're doing today will be recorded and will be posted online with the rest of the patent content. I'm sure our team also at BabyTel will post it up for their contents and marketing as well. So we'll definitely have that available so you can share it with your teams. And let me jump back up. go through some more questions. That was that one. So when we look at it, obviously, you know, we talked about some of the support models where if you're fielding the frontline call, that agency is going to make a 15% commission. If you're passing through the support, that support will go back to Pat and BabyTel to do. So we'll be fielding those support calls.
Also, once you know you've filled out that form and you'll talk to the BabyTel channel partner representative, you know, they'll walk you through all the different services available and walk you through, you know, the portal and how to make use of the portal, how to you know, embed these services and products with links that we provide in your sales material or your own portal. So there's a whole program, a channel partner program that really is geared to helping assist sales and the promotion of the service.
We had a question, are there white label billing options?
Today we have a way to do that. It's something that we can talk about. We do have a way to do that.
Okay. The other question was this for channels only? Obviously, you know, this is a program designed for our channel partners. That can be partners at any level in Patent's program. So that could be a team that's doing the physical installs. You know, it could be a VAR reselling a phone system. It could be someone providing data infrastructure to medical offices. You know, any one of those people that's selling a services or has the community should sign up as an agency, right? Which enables you to resell that service to your community. So in that, yeah, I mean, we are opening it up as if you have a channel of end users or customers, yeah, you should sign up as an agency. It doesn't mean that you're selling the hardware because you have the option to sell the bundled service where you're providing that hardware and service together and really relying on Patent and BabyTel to help onboard and get your customers up and running.
Also, I'd like to add that, you know, that you're also, as a BabyTel agent, have access to all portfolio of services that BabyTel has to offer. And there's a lot of services there. I urge you to check out the BabyTel website and see what else could be of interest.
Okay. Another question is, we have a question, what happens on the other side of the cloud? So when we're talking about the encrypt going over a cloud.
So the key criteria for compliance and for securing of private data and personal information is that you are responsible for that as a company. So what that means is that you're responsible for it as it leaves your organization and as it enters your organization. What happens on the other side of the cloud is the responsibility of the other party who's receiving that information. So if you're faxing it to a doc, if you're a medical clinic and you're faxing it to a hospital, as it leaves your organization, you care that it's encrypted. The hospital cares that it's encrypted as it enters its organization. So the hospital will have to have a mechanism there. And typically, if they're a BabyTel customer, then that's not a problem. It's encrypted right across the end-to-end. If they are using some other provider, then that's up to them how they've decided to secure that and whether that mechanism is up to snuff in order to, you know, give the real completion rates that they require.
Okay, that's great. And another question was, does the customer have a portal, or is it just the agent?
Correct. So the customer will also have a portal. Some of our agents prefer to manage services for their customers. So even though the customer has this portal and has access to the portal, some of the agents that do first level support will also get access to that. But some customers, it's so easy to self-manage that a lot of our customers, take the burden off of their agents and once they've made the sale, they're really hands-off,
Yeah.
hardly any support.
And they wanted to say from a customer perspective, basically to view in a portal inbound and outbound faxes.
That's correct. So they
Okay.
have the ability to get the call logs. They have the ability to instant provision additional services. It's really very streamlined.
Great.
And remember, the only information available is the call log. The content of the fax is not available
That's correct.
because it's a real-time service. So just the information about when it was sent, when it was, how many minutes, and so on and so on.
Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for joining. Those are the questions we had from the group so far. If you have any other questions that come up, please reach out to Patton or BabyTel directly. We will be sending a follow-up to this webinar, thanking everybody for joining us, as well as providing you a link to the landing page and content for this presentation. We look forward to kicking this off. I hope a lot of you had time to go in and hit the sign-up page. We think this is a great value-added service to enhance the SmartNode deployments and address a really critical need in the marketplace. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and we look forward to talking to you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.